And thank you so much for watching these videos. In video 1, we talked about the power of live events and what you can do with these to increase your profit through the power of engagement and the 6 strategy steps for increasing your profits. So remember, in video 2, we talked about automated webinars that are used essentially as automated lead and conversion tools. So if you haven't seen video 1 or video 2, then I suggest clicking above or below to access those videos right now. Now, I'm kind of excited. This video is all about harnessing the power of live events and automated webinars to launch a product out into the world. You see, when using webinars as a launch tool, most of the time, people do, say, 1 or 2 of these 4 crucial steps that I call the 4 steps to the event launch blueprint. And oftentimes, they leave about 3/4 of the potential sales right off the table. What I'd like to do right now is go into my computer and dig just a little bit deeper into these 4 steps and how you can use them to leverage your event promotions and, of course, profit. So let's go into my computer right now and I'll show you how. Okay, what you're going to learn right now is mostly how no matter how big of a list you have, how many people you get to your live events, or how many technical screw-ups arise, you can still profit 4 times more than your typical event promotion using what I'm just about to show you. But very quickly, let's just clear up a couple things and take a step back and answer this question. When do you use an event launch plan? Well, the answer is really for any product launch promotion that you're doing. Promotions such as these. Let's say you have a book. Well, maybe you want to do a book launch using events. Maybe a new software launch. Maybe you're a software creator and you want to put that out into the market. You can use this event launch blueprint to do so. Maybe you have a new digital course or membership program. This would be a perfect way to use events. Also, maybe a new coaching program or training or boot camp coaching where it's live training. You can use events to promote these type of offers out into the world. And this is just a sample of the type of things that you can promote with the event launch blueprint. Okay, now we know what kind of products you're promoting, but how do you promote both a live event, but also automated events in your event launching plan? Here's what we're going to be talking about. The event launch blueprint. Okay, this is a blueprint of all the different types of events you want to have when promoting a product into the market. Okay, now this system can double, triple, and actually quadruple the income that you would generally make. And I'm going to share why in a second here. And this is really no matter how small of a community you have, okay? The nice thing is that this stuff works for if you get 10 people to your webinar, if you get 200 people to your webinar or event. It really doesn't matter how big of a community you have to actually get this going. In fact, I know some of our customers and clients have been able to actually get people to promote them even with only 50 people, say, on their list, okay? So it's really about building up those joint venture partnerships with quality products. If you have a quality product, people will promote you. And then it's a question of doing exactly what I'm showing you in this particular system. See, here's the deal. Most people typically do 1 out of these 4 crucial steps or 4 crucial events. And in fact, what that does is it essentially leaves money right on the table. So what I want to share with you is I want to share with you how you can use the 4 steps to the event launch blueprint to dramatically change your conversions and profit. And the cool part about these 4 types of events is that it really doesn't take any extra work than doing a live webinar 1 time. So what is it, you might be wondering? These are the 4 types of events when using events to do a promotion or launch. As I've already mentioned, you would use these for joint venture promotions. You would do this when launching a new product out into the market. You would launch and use this system when doing a promotion to your own list. So let's look at it right now. Number 1, you would start out by doing a live event. Okay, this is pretty typical, and this is something you probably already realized that you would do. That live event, the idea of it is that it generates a certain amount of sales, and you would have that event done on a specific day, right? A specific time and specific day. Well, generally speaking, most people just do this 1 live event. They don't think beyond the live event. And so let me go in and show you an additional level of revenue that you can create by following up with this next event type. And this next event type is called a rebroadcast. And essentially, it is a rebroadcast of that same event that you've already done. So let's say you do that one-time event on Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard. Then what you can do is, as soon as that event is over, you can offer it again, let's say at 7 p.m. that same day, or let's say first thing the next morning at, say, 11 a.m. We've tested this out, and by doing this, oftentimes you can double, I repeat, literally double what you've done on your live event. So now you are doubling your sales by running a rebroadcast of that event. And here's the cool thing. Sometimes that rebroadcast, you could decide to just use the video that you did on your first event. So it can be a video, and you can be in there actually running the chat and talking to people while they're watching the previous event that you've already done. So it's working for you while you don't have to do it live. Now, the cool thing is that you could do another live in-person event, just as you did for your first live event. But the nice thing about a rebroadcast is that you can repurpose what you've already done if it was really successful, or just do another one if you wanted to run it again. If, say, something happened technically or you just didn't feel like the flow was right, you could always rebroadcast again. And the nice thing is that will, generally speaking, and this is based on tests that we've done and results that we've had our customers have, that this rebroadcast will literally, if you've made X amount for your live events, so if you sell 10 units on your live event, generally speaking, you can sell just as many on the rebroadcast. Okay, but we don't stop there. After that rebroadcast, we set up another event. And this next event is something you probably already know or have heard about. It's the replay event. But what most people do is they set up a replay, but they don't set it up the best way to get the most sales, because the replay will profit, generally speaking, double of what you've already made from your rebroadcast and your live event. So if you, say, have made in your live event 10 sales and then your rebroadcast another 10 sales, generally speaking, if you're doing your replay correctly, you should be able to make an additional 20 sales from your replay. The secret to making double of what you've already made is to make sure you set up bonuses that are only available on the replay and that are going to expire. By creating an element of scarcity in your replay, meaning that your replay will say only be available for the next 72 hours along with these particular bonuses. By doing that, that creates an urgency for people to come through and pick up your product. Now, that's exactly why you tend to see double sales on the replay, because of the scarcity element that it has. So now, finally, you're up to 40 sales. What do you do now? Well, as soon as this event is over, what you can do is then put this into a solution that will create a recurring income consistently. And to do that, you would turn what was once live into an automated evergreen webinar event. And the cool thing about the automated evergreen event is that now you're going to stream it out, the event, in your attendee's own time zone. Because by doing so, you can get more leads and more sales coming through automatically. Before, you may have had issues with people not being able to see your webinars because they were live and they were in your own time zone, and you may have a worldwide audience. And if that's the case, by putting it into an automated sequence and event, you're going to get more registrants more often. You see, the evergreen funnel is perfect for generating sales while you sleep. So this is essentially the 4 types of events when using events to do a promotion or launch. Let me repeat this system just so it's in your mind. Do a live event. Then double your sales by doing a rebroadcast of that same event. Then set up a limited time replay that will expire after, say, 48 hours or 72 hours with bonuses. Then when that's all done, you're going to put everything into an automated evergreen video event that's going to work for you on autopilot on a recurring basis. And these are the 4 types of events that will maximize your profit and growth when using events to promote your products. Now, that looks pretty simple, right? Well, the question is, why don't more people use all these steps? As I mentioned, most people just do 1 or 2 of these steps. I mean, when I finally revealed it to some of my coaching students, their minds were completely blown. For instance, Bozidar was one of my students, and this is what he had to say about learning these strategies.
Well, Casey taught me how to do rebroadcasts, what is the psychology behind rebroadcasts, and how I should set them up. And I literally added rebroadcast to my webinar funnel, and literally the next day, like overnight, I saw increase of my show-up rate for my webinars go up by 50%, and basically sales go up by 50%. Thank you, Casey, for everything.
Well, here's why more people don't take advantage of all of these 4 event types for maximizing their profit. You see, in the past, to do a complete event launch funnel, you would need 3 to 4 different types of software, plus an AV guy or an audio-video guy just helping along. Well, first off, not all of us have the resources capable of finding the right AV person, let alone have the money to pay them continuously for services rendered. And it gets way too confusing and frustrating when it comes to just how many pieces of software we need to make all of the bells and whistles work. But again, it surprises me that many people still aren't 100% familiar with the event launch funnel in the first place. What's the reason? Well, those who've been using online events in their business didn't want this secret system to get out, because it is literally the golden ticket of profiting online. So, it's not your fault if you didn't know about it. This is one of the best kept secrets in the webinar marketing world. And when I was finally privileged to hear about it, I was doing what most in the know webinar marketers were doing. I started using this system a few years ago with GoToWebinar. I would do my live event using GoToWebinar. Then my broadcast event was also through GoToWebinar using an AV person to stream it out for me, because listen, it gets complex. There were inputs and outputs that I had to know about, and it was impossible for me to figure out. Then I put the video into a third-party page builder for the timed replay. At the time, I was using things like Optimized Press 2 and Lead Pages. Finally, I would then take that same video event and stick it into an automated webinar platform that could do evergreen events, which at the time, and still to this day, are few and far between. Well, how I was doing it was costing me thousands a month using 4 different types of software and services, really making my webinar income margins almost next to nothing. Not to mention that it really required some big hurdles, until one day I was brainstorming a better way with some smart software engineers. And after 3 years, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in development, we came up with Easy Webinar. Easy Webinar is an all-in-one webinar event suite that does both live events and automated events, and essentially every event in between. You see, Easy Webinar creates full webinar event funnels, meaning that it creates pages that you would typically get from a webinar funnel automatically, but allows you to change them dynamically from, say, one-time events to recurring events and then back. These pages are created inside our customer's Easy Webinar dashboard, which are then published into their WordPress sites. And the unique thing about Easy Webinar is that it can do both one-time events or recurring events that can either be streamed live or pre-recorded. And the really cool thing is you can start with a one-time event that is live. And then after that event's over, switch it to a recurring event so that it can start working for you on autopilot. And we're the only software that has this capability of doing this. But the thing is, many of our customers, they only use it for, say, live events or automated events.